Welcome. The creative revolution starts now. This video series is entitled The Creative Revolution for a reason. When you grasp the ideas that we're exploring here, it will revolutionize your understanding of creativity as well as your own capacity to create. In episode 7, we explored two very important concepts. The first is that nature is the creative genius of the universe. We focused on the work of physicist David Bohm, who said that the entire universe unfolds from the undivided wholeness of nature. The second concept is that there is a practice called inspiring that allows you to have the most intimate connection possible with the creative genius of nature. Here is where the creative revolution takes us to some very deep places. Because we're going to set out to embody nature, and in doing that, we're going to tap into a very expansive source of creativity. To embody nature, let's revisit Bohm's definition of nature as, quote, undivided wholeness in flowing movement, unquote. To embody nature means, first of all, to identify with that undivided wholeness that is nature, and second of all, to channel the flowing movement that allows a universe to unfold from wholeness. In subsequent episodes, we're going to delve very deeply into what it means to identify with undivided wholeness and experience that wholeness abiding in you. This is really key to the creative revolution. But today we're going to focus on a second and equally crucial principle, which involves channeling the flowing movement of nature. That flowing movement is the fundamental creative force of the universe. According to Bohm, the entire universe is unfolding continuously from the undivided wholeness of nature. That is a very exciting proposition because it means that the creation of the universe is happening always, and that we can tap into that creative unfolding because the undivided wholeness from which everything in the universe is created, from which it all unfolds, is abiding in us, and abiding in each of us as it is in all things. So how does undivided wholeness give rise to a universe of form? That unfolding can only happen in one way. The undivided wholeness of nature has to divide itself. It has to shatter into pieces. The flowing movement that Bohm is referring to can only happen if there are things that can flow past one another. You cannot have flowing movement when you have undivided wholeness. You must divide that wholeness into its individual parts. When the wholeness of nature divides in such a way that it can flow, but it can also pool and collect within individual entities, thoughts, people, objects, life forms, etc., that divided wholeness is called essence. Essence is what is needed or essential to our existence and our capacity to thrive. This can include basic needs of life, air and food and water, etc. It can include the atoms and molecules and cells and tissue that make up our bodies. It can also include the ideas that make up our self-concept and our understanding of the world, our entire world view. Essence can be truth and beauty and art and great ideas, beautiful music. All of those things can be essential to our capacity as individuals to really thrive. Not just to be alive, but to make the most of this moment and make now great. All of us are simply a stream and a collection of essence. That collection of essence, that pool, is constantly shifting. With every breath I take, the makeup of my body has changed. Same thing with every bite of food I eat or every drink of water that I take in. To go from the undivided wholeness of nature to this universe in which essence is flowing everywhere at once and always is quite a challenging thing to comprehend. For me, I have carried an image in my mind since I was in my late 20s. I first envisioned this image, which I called Fountain of Essence, when I was 28 years old and traveling through Australia. I remember the exact date, March 16th, 1987. That was a night that changed my life forever. And the best way to share with you something of what I envisioned that night and I have carried with me ever since is this image. What you see here is this beautiful fountain of essence. The center line is the wholeness of nature. That wholeness bursts into billions of little droplets of light. Each drop carries with it the entire ocean. Each part contains the whole. This is what is so marvelous and intriguing and almost incomprehensible about our universe, is that the wholeness abides in every little piece, part, constituent. At the same time, when you look at this image, this fountain of essence, what you will see is that all those little droplets of light converge back into wholeness. They merge together and return to that center, that undivided wholeness of nature, from which the entire universe unfolds over and over again, shattering or bursting into millions and billions of little parts and pieces. You have a continuous cycle of unfolding and enfolding, of emerging and then merging back again. That is really beautiful and inspiring. So what does this all have to do with you and your creativity? If you can embody nature, then you can experience the undivided wholeness of nature abiding in you. And that undivided wholeness is bursting into an entire universe, is creating the universe in a fountain of essence that is circular, cyclical, and continuous. One of the keys to expanding your own creativity is to be able to channel that fountain of essence. And this is exactly where we're going to pick up in the next episode. You want to stay tuned because I'm going to share with you something very tangible and specific that anybody can do to enhance their own creativity. Until then, thanks for listening.